Hey everybody, welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. I'm sorry for our long absence. That's entirely my fault. But hey, my name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Crack Palantir, and my good buddy Max is here to join us for this episode 157 of Brise's Tale. Max plays Brise, who is a beautiful and talented paladin, and say hello to the folks, Max.
Yeah, hope you're having a wonderful night. I'm excited to play my beautiful Italian paladin.
That's right.
I swear I thought I heard you say.
Given the shape I'm in,
should be a very exciting stream.
yeah, it should be fun and intense. I think we're just going to give a very quick overview, and then we're going to jump right into it to maintain some tension. So there's this tiny settlement north of Bruce's area of operations. The tiny settlement is named Pelka. It's purely the sort of base of operations for a necromancer named Volshad. The Volshad herself was kind of overpowered by another necromancer named Holver. And we don't know the extent to which they're working together, to the extent to which Volshad is just subordinate now to Holver. They're both very powerful, but Holver is known to be a little balls to the walls and very direct in getting what he wants. And so the thought was to come and scout Pelka to see how fortified it was, and also to see if they have a chance of freeing the spirit of an ancient elven woman named Elbrig. In teleporting to the valley to the north of Pelka, they wound up teleporting, and I should say they is Doshrik and Brise. Doshrik is a bird-like being from another world, an apprentice to a good wizard named Fraudrum. But he's about 8 feet high, feathered, so on, just walks around in a cloak and robes and goes by the story that he was transformed in a magical accident as opposed to telling the truth of his origins. So Doshrik and Brise are here in this valley scouting Pelka. When they teleported to the northern slope of the valley, they inadvertently teleported inside of the body of a shadow giant called a Nauglyph. Realizing their mistake, they quickly teleported out, but not before the Nauglyph could inform Holver that something was wrong. So they quickly teleported to the opposite side of the valley, just south of Pelka, overlooking the town, and Holver appears and is searching for whatever disturbance awakened the Nauglyph. Holver has a very striking appearance, and with his purple eyes and so on, and apparently is operating with an illusion disguising his appearance. So you hear us describe an elven noble that is operating, and that's basically the disguise that Holver is wearing so he is less noticeable. So that's where we are. To the south of Pelka, we have Doshrik and Brise hiding. To the north of Pelka, we have Holver and the Nauglyph searching for what disturbed the Nauglyph. So you and Doshrik are hiding amongst the trees, towering down. Doshrik looks at you. You are reminded by the look on his face that he is not an adventurer. He is much more of an academic. And so Doshrik looks to you for guidance about what to do next.
Great. So Holver is still there. He appeared, right? He hasn't left yet.
Right.
Okay. So I tell Dosher we should just sit tight and watch what he does, see what we can learn from him. Perhaps there's obviously it seems that now we've lost the Nauglyph. Maybe we can learn something else about it by observing it. Yeah, because I talked to Dosher. He's not really familiar with necromancy. Yeah, we just have to see what we can learn.
So let's talk about state of readiness for you.
Right.
What do you want in your hands?
I need to remind myself I did not bring all of my gear. I do have my spear. So I will have my spear out in both hands. Actually, I'll have my spear and my shield, target shield, in case they spot us and try to throw anything at us.
Doshik, of course, has his plain white wooden rod out.
Put your wooden rod away, Doshik. No.
We don't have time for that. I know we're in the woods, but come on. You're about to learn the birds part of the birds and the bees. That's the unfortunate.
Oh, no. As long as it's not a corkscrew shave, that's fine with me.
That's right. That's right. Duck, duck, goose. The Nauglyph's great arms, you can, from this distance, you can make them out, moving through, sort of combing through the valley. They're moving very slowly, and you realize it's to make it look like a shadow passing across the valley so as not to terrify the residents of Pelka, which certainly suggests, and to no one's surprise, that Pelka does not know that it's under the influence of a necromancer.
Two necromancers.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Come on, people, wake up. The sheeple are.
That's right.
Oh man, I could make a very real analogy to Holver and Bullshot right now.
Yeah. That's really funny. The Nauglyph's shadowed form begins moving west on the northern slope of the valley. You can tell that.
Nice. 1 second.
Sure. You can tell that the livestock on the edge of town are reacting to the nearness of the giant. Unrest. Some are like jumping pins from one over stone walls.
Yeah.
It's causing some, unease among the farmers. People are coming out of their houses and, checking on their livestock, and there's sudden agitation. Holver, in the meantime, is headed east. Roll for me.
89.
Your fear is that they're going to circle the village in their search. And if so, of course, that will bring them, to you guys.
Didn't we teleport further from the village? I thought we were to like the north of the village.
No, you started. That's where you started.
Okay.
You
teleporting further south.
Right. So you're basically on the other slope overlooking the village.
Okay.
So you're south, and not by miles by any means, because you wanted to keep Pelka under surveillance.
Right.
And it was a quick teleport to the first bare spot they could find. The sentries on the wall, there's one on the north wall, one on the south wall. They seem sort of disinterested. They looked over when they heard the agitation of the sheep and so on. But they don't seem to be alerted at all that anything is up.
Can I see the outline of the Nauglyph's influence from this distance, like its shadow body, right? Is there a clear demarcation?
Not clear, but vague.
Okay. So I think I tell Doshrik we should, if he's going to circle the village, we should tail them and just stay well behind that shadow.
But if they're on the opposite side, if they're on the top of the circle, you're on the bottom of the circle. You're going to teleport back across? Is that
no? We're just going to walk so that we kind of are always apart from each other. You know what I mean?
But they're going around both sides.
Oh, they're splitting this way?
Yes. One headed west, one headed east.
Okay. I feel like it'd probably be easier to evade the Noglyph. I don't know what magic of detection Holver might be using. So why don't we head away from the village so that if he's circling around, we'll be outside of the shadow.
Doshik says, I'll follow your lead.
Okay.
Keep in mind that Holver is of sufficient skill that he may have the ability to innately detect magic. I do not advise us teleporting away. Not for many, many, many minutes.
Right.
It is also possible that within his arts, he has the ability to trace a teleport and know where the teleporter wound up. We cannot lead him back to Miagross Keep.
So we got to make sure we teleport elsewhere before we retreat.
So the slope going uphill is not particularly treacherous, is fairly well wooded, so you'll remain visually covered.
Okay.
I'm going to roll for Doshik. You're going to roll for yourself.
Let's do it. 44.
You're having to help him a lot. He keeps stumbling and so on. He has put away his rod to use both hands for the climb, grabbing onto trees and so on. Roll again.
87.
He's doing much better, as are you. You're making better time. Looking back, Holver now is at the eastern end of the village.
Okay. So we're moving west.
You're moving...
Or south.
Due south.
Okay.
Roll for me.
82.
You're both maintaining a good pace. Less frequently do you have to help him. He is learning just to kind of flap his way over tough obstacles. Although the noise of it sometimes, gives you both you and he anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
The Noglyph has now reached the west end of the village and is crossing the narrow little game trail that serves as their road.
Mm-hmm.
Very soon, both Holver and the Nowglyph will be making their way up the southern slope.
Does it seem like once we're far enough away, it would be good to stop and observe?
Right. You're moving more slowly than they are, in part because you're
Okay.
going uphill. They were going downhill, and just now starting to go uphill.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't even think about it. This might actually be the perfect time to get into the village. But obviously, that's not our plan. Our plan was to disguise merchants.
Right. I mean, there's no way to get in and do anything. You could get
Right.
there, but yeah, without a lot of careful prep, it's just too small a village to be anonymous in.
Right. Now, I mean, we do have the invisibility, which I think is ring of invisibility is for an hour. I don't remember. 3 times a day. Oh, no, lasts for minutes. Yeah, so it's not really an option.
Roll for me.
4.
It's Doshrik's turn to help you. You are scrambling up slope, making very little progress, making your way down the escarpment, trying to find better holds. He's giving you boosts on his, 8-foot high shoulders. At the top of this escarpment, there is a small hunting shack. Dashrik looks at you in regards to it.
Does it seem abandoned?
Yeah.
Okay. I say this seems like no one's been here for a while. We could use this as a shelter. Now, whether Holver knows about it and knows to check it, we'll have to keep an eye out to see if he comes in this direction.
Holver is now on the southern slope. So is the Nowglyph. The livestock on the northern slope have calmed. The guards on the wall, again, seem unconcerned. They don't seem to notice there's this sort of shadow on the mountain, that's not cast by a cloud or anything. They seem happily lounging. You guys gain the top of the escarpment. Shack is definitely abandoned. More than enough room for both of you. You listen at the door of the shack. There is no sound. The door opens easily. In you both go. The shack is unfortunately windowless. There'll be no way to keep watch.
Right.
What would you like to do?
So I'll, I tell him to stay here. I'm going to just keep watch at the edge of the escarpment, stay low, and continue to track their progress. See if they give up their search.
Doshrik nods and tells you if you must use magic, use as little as possible.
Right.
It's getting harder to watch both of the searchers because your angle now is such that you're looking over treetops, trying to see them. Elbrig will occasionally pop up above the treetops, no doubt using. Sorry, not Elbrig. Holver will occasionally pop above the treetops, probably using levitate.
Yeah. Could I climb the roof of the shack and kind of lay low on it? Does it look sturdy enough? Support that?
Hard to judge if it's sturdy enough.
Okay. So you also remember Azrael was with me and had been climbing up the whole time.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So I could actually send Azrael up to the top of the roof.
Yeah.
He could make it up there easily and then peer out over the
treetop. They're closing in on your old location.
Okay. Oh, hi, Quinn. Didn't see your chat there.
Hey, Quinn. Elbrig has disappeared. Have not seen Elbrig. Dang it. Holver has disappeared. Have not seen him for a while.
Is Holver that all along the twist?
There's multiple identities going on here. Should check ID.
Bullshot, Neargral, Holver, they're all the same person.
Fraudrum, Brise, all the same.
It's all. I wake up and I'm in an asylum.
Yeah, that's right. The now glyph is now over your old location.
Mm-hmm.
Treetops are moving. It is not very far away, but you're definitely several hundred feet above the influence of the now glyph. The now glyph passes and continues to move along the southern slope.
Mm-hmm.
Holver, you can make him out as he pops up over the top of the town's palisade,
Mm-hmm.
and speaks to one of the guards. There's a brief exchange. The guard hurries away. Elbrig takes the stairs down, disappears back into the town. Soon thereafter, there are now 4 guards on the wall, not 2.
Okay. Okay, so it seems like we dodged detection.
Yeah. Throw up my dice.
So I'll go to Doshrik and tell him the good news. Man, but what are we going to do next?
Yeah.
So tell Doshrik that I do have an idea. We know that someone was sent into town to Ballabry this morning from this village to go pick up goods, and they will be returning to the village. Now I can't remember how many days it takes. Let me go through my notes again.
I thought it was most of a day to reach Ballabry.
Yes. Right. Yeah, most of a day. They said one of the villages. Yes. Okay. So one of the villages was Ballabry this morning. So they should be back later today or early tomorrow. If we can catch them on the road, one of us could disguise as them. Or we could at least, if they probably wouldn't be bringing a cart, though. We couldn't really hide ourselves in there. We could approach with them, though, and say we're merchants. Because if we just appear at the village unannounced now or over the next few days, it's going to be immediately suspicious.
So your thinking is joining the courier, if you will,
Right.
will just seem like a coincidence. They're already preoccupied with unloading goods and that sort of thing, and it sort of gives you a cover of sorts.
Right. Oops. Close my notes. Let me see our potion of face change again. It's supposed to be several minutes. So that's not really going to work. Oops. I say, or we just risk Azrael, my familiar, going into the village. If Holver can, has anything set up to detect that bond, that'll be, or at least I guess I asked Doshrik, is there a way you can tell if there's any detection magic at this distance?
We would have to get closer.
Okay.
A skillfully cast detect magic will not just detect magic, but tell you its nature.
Mm-hmm.
I have some skill in that area, but we're well outside of range. We must also contend with the fact that they're going to increase patrols along the slopes.
Right.
And the nature of those patrols, I don't dare guess. But that I can contend with. I am skilled at illusions, and I can keep them guessing for hours.
Okay.
Against a sorcerer of Holver's skill, that's a much iffier proposition. But against the mere undead or mortals, I am not concerned.
It might be best if you, we might observe what patrols they do send out today, camp out here for today and watch the village. And then you could, at some point, go down and with the help of an illusion cast detection magic on the village itself to get a feel for what will and won't be noticed. I think I would just make too much noise if I went with you.
And when do you want him to do this? You want him to do this tonight, or do you want to wait?
Well, I was kind of asking him, but I realized I'm the adventurer, right? I kind of have to decide for him. So I say, let's break. As impatient as Brise is, let's wait and see these patrols, what they consist of, and if there's any pattern to them. And then you can go and once we are confident about that, you can go and cast detection magic.
In concentrating on Azrael, Azrael can tell that an Alglyph has returned to their position on the northern slope.
Okay. And how long did it take for it to like circle, the village and come back? Was it that like an hour or so?
Yeah, probably a little more than that. It was not impeded, of course, by physical barriers, but it was impeded by the fact that it had to sort of concentrate and look.
Right.
So yeah, it's mid-afternoon now.
Yeah, I don't know. The plan about intercepting the person on the road seems a little too risky. I think it'd be better to learn what we can being outside the village and then hopefully be able to send Azrael in with some type of guise if we need.
Right. So Azrael is watching the gates as best he can. There's no evidence that patrols enter or exit either gate.
Does he see trolls?
Patrols.
Oh, patrols. Okay. Troll patrol.
Yeah, that would be no good. It's now late afternoon. Is it time to try to move while you have light, or are you going to try to stay the night at the hunter shack?
So you said the patrols don't go into the gate.
There's no evidence of patrols coming or going.
Seen any patrols? Okay. So I tell Doshrik, I think now is the time. If you want to descend into the closer to the village while we still have light. And then I ask him, it's up to you if you want me to come along. But your secrecy might be your best protection.
I think I would feel better if you were with me.
Okay. And I'll be as sneaky as I can.
Down you guys go. Roll for me.
Rolling 31.
Doshrik's doing okay being quiet. You're doing less okay, but that's fine. There's not, so far as you know, there's no one around to hear you.
Right. And just reminder, I've got my chimes to detect undead in 200 feet. So should be able to hear the Noglif coming for us.
Right.
Before it arrives.
You want Azrael at the front?
Yes.
Roll again.
98.
Roll again and add it.
Plus 8.
Moving very quietly now.
What is the range? Detect magic. My version of detect magic is 50 feet plus 10 feet of level. So, Doshrik, what level are you?
That's right.
So you're probably at least 100, 200 feet, I would imagine.
You guys find cover. You're sort of at the bottom of the valley now.
Mm-hmm.
There's the edge of one of the farms on the southern side of town.
I'm curious if I could, nature's law, call fog. That could be 200 foot. Oh, that's the range. The radius would be 150 foot radius. Would that cover? That wouldn't even cover the whole village.
No, but also I don't think I'd be doing any sort of strange phenomenon now if they're on.
Right, but I mean, as like if we're discovered, that might be a good way for us to, we don't have to run away. That covers our tracks at least a little bit until.
Sure.
Well, who knows if Holver can? I know. Did someone counterspell something that he did, or am I imagining that?
Ages ago, I think that happened.
Someone like stopped my one of the spells I did.
It was ages ago, but yeah, I think only once.
Okay.
It cracks me up. Alarms me that in Tolkien, in Fellowship, when they're in Moria and the Balrog is approaching, but they haven't seen it yet, Gandalf casts like a barrier on the door, and the Balrog breaks it open and like just like overpowers Gandalf's magic.
Right.
And I was like, geez, there's some serious stuff right there.
Yep.
So you and Doshrik are crouched in the woods. Doshrik takes out his rod and begins murmuring very carefully, very slowly. And you recognize from your own experience that he's taking his time with this spell.
Mm-hmm. I'll have my spear out in 2 hands, ready to go.
Do you really think you're going to fight, though?
No, but better to feel more comfortable having a weapon in my hands. What spell do I have in my spear gun? I think I have Call Lightning as well.
So Doshrik's eyes are closed. He's processing the information from the spell. He opens his eyes and says, I can't determine if they're able to detect familiars. But I can tell you there's a concentration of magic both at Elbrig's layer, the level of the tower, and the room above.
Okay.
Is laden with magic. There's also a great source of magic outside of the tower. I'm wondering if that is Holver himself.
Sorry, did he say above the tower?
The base.
Oh, the
Outside
base.
the base.
Okay. And is Elbrig's looks like the second floor? I ask him. Like the base, and then the first. What do you say about the second floor in the tower, or is it higher up than that?
His sense is the third, and
Okay.
then there's one floor above that.
Right.
It would not surprise him if that highest floor is a cache of magical items.
Right.
For Volshad's use.
I ask him, if you think Holver's in the base, are you not picking up on Volshad's magic? Or is she possibly muddled with one of the other sources?
I don't know.
You call yourself an apprentice to Fraldr.
It might be that Volshad is elsewhere.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
I mean, could he detect anything else on the village, like wards or any other type of detection magic?
There were no sources of magic of any real strength anywhere else.
Okay.
There are some weak spots. That will not surprise me if those are the weapons or armor of the guards.
Okay. I say then it might be that we return to. So I tell him that we could return to our shelter. I could send Azrael in to the village, and if he's undetected, we could use him to scout safely. And I ask him, do you know any magic for casting spells through familiars?
It would only work on my own familiar.
Well, here's the familiar's tome. You need to cast it 6 days, and
That's
then
right. We'll sit out here for 6 days
okay.
by the goats and the chickens.
So I tell him that Azrael could scout. Yeah, let's get a chicken familiar. Make the Noggle if you're familiar.
Oh, there you go.
It needs to be it needs to be what 100 or like 50% of your body weight. What's a shadow?
That's fantastic.
Oh my god!
And you send it prowling through the village, and people are just screaming and running for their lives. You're like, well, all I know about that village
Pardon me.
all I know about that village is it's abandoned. That's all I know. With several untended fires and overturned tables.
Oh my god! Well, that would be that's we'll call that Plan D.
Yeah.
For disaster.
Yeah.
So I tell him that I could send Azrael in. Unfortunately, I don't know I could not cast magic through him. So all he could do is scout. He wouldn't be able to detect any other wards. Although I guess he could look for any, other entrances to the tower and understand more of the layout of the village. So unless we have a better plan, we'll do that.
I will say, Doshik says, I don't think there is a dimensional ban on the village. We could teleport in. If Azrael could climb the tower, make it to the Dreamweaver's prison, then through Azrael's eyes, you could teleport in.
This is true.
And then teleport away with the Dreamweaver.
If she can be teleported away, whatever state she's in, we'll see if Azrael can discover that.
And of course, you have a range on the familial link.
Right. So I need to remember what that is, and I know I can double it with my 75 feet per level of caster. So that's I'm going to do some mental math here. Pay no attention to that. Oh, you can't see the calculator.
That's right.
I mean the 75 times. Am I 14? I keep forgetting.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So 1,000 feet. And then I could double that to, 1,050, I could double that to 2,100.
That should be plenty for range of the village.
Right, but what about from our hideout?
It's stretching it.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have to stay here. I wish we had a better vantage point of where the Nogolith is to know if he's coming towards us. Oh, I guess I have my chimes. That'll let us know.
The thing is, he has to avoid the village.
Right.
That gives
So
you
we're
a
close to
lovely,
the village.
yeah, gives you a lovely buffer.
Mhm.
Because, as you guys know, I mean, just being in its presence is such an unnatural feeling. So,
Okay. So I tell Doshrik that I'll cast the Lengthen Bond spell, and then I'll send Azrael into the village.
you're gonna cast that through your tome.
Yes.
All
Now I
right.
guess I should. Where is the gateway? I guess Azrael just needs to find like a hole in the wall, right? How?
It's possible, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, cast from my tome. It's a level 9. It'll be cast at level 10, so it'll last for 200 minutes. And I will need to take all my time to focus.
All right, do it to it.
That's a double lot.
Oh, nice.
Well, all right.
So, it's gonna last for 400 minutes. It costs you 1 exhaustion.
Wow. That's pretty nice. Azrael's trying to get in my room right now. Hope no one can hear the incessant meowing
I can just barely hear it.
5 feet away from me.
He's looking for a hole into the town.
Exactly.
Azrael very quickly finds a hole.
Okay.
Into the town he goes.
And I'll just make sure he stops and kind of looks around, detects if anyone notices him. Gives him any odd looks.
Yeah, you're having to concentrate on him constantly just to, process his. So Doshrik, you tell Doshrik, to stay on guard because you're going to be so preoccupied.
Right. And
He makes it into the main thoroughfare, I should say. A lot of people just at work, fashioning goods, cooking, loading wood. It is just a hard scrabble life of a desolate and isolated village. The road leads directly to the tower from the gate.
Okay. I'll have him try to approach at a not taking the main road to seem more cat-like.
There ahead of him is Holver.
Okay.
Holver is talking to a rather sleepy looking goblin, clearly just roused from bed.
Is he sleeping in the afternoon? Is he Spanish?
It's a siesta.
Ya está.
Roll for me.
51.
Not a happy conversation. Do you wish to get closer or not?
I'm going to say no. Let's see. Is he like right in front of the tower?
They are a side alley to the tower.
Okay. So I'll have Azrael go down the opposite alley.
We'll have to cross the thoroughfare to do that, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah. Quinn says, that's racist. I sleep in the afternoons too. Well, way to out yourself as Spanish, Quinn. Everyone who takes afternoon naps has a little bit of Spaniard in them.
That's right.
A little bit of conquistador.
That's right. Crosses. Every now and then you glimpse those little bits of luxury that see maybe it's a candlestick in a window or something. And you're like, that's not your level of wealth for a candlestick. But that's clearly, a low-level merchant's, that's not a low-end candlestick. That's
Right.
made at home. You want Azrael to circle the tower?
And then start finding a way up.
Very few people even glance Azrael's way. He's now at the back of the tower, which would be from its typical facing. The back of the tower would be pointing east.
Okay.
So the front of the tower faces west, that main road that leads into Pelka. It goes around the west side. You notice there are no windows on the back. There's no door on the back. He's now on the south side, which is the front of the south side is where Holver was having that conversation with the goblin.
Okay.
As he rounds the corner at a distance, in the distance, you can still see Holver and the goblin talking. The goblin is bowing and nodding vigorously. You're quite a ways away. There are some windows in the front of the building on the south side. But there does not seem to be any additional entrances in terms of doors to the tower.
Right. So just a door at the entrance on the south side. And then did we see windows on the south side as well?
Only toward its front. So the south west side has some windows. The west side has some windows, and that's it.
And are any of those look like on the third or fourth floor?
There are windows on the third floor and on the second floor. There are none on the fourth floor.
Okay. Side of the tower. So I don't want to make it too obvious if Azrael starts climbing up the tower on the southwest side. It'll be really noticeable.
Yeah, it would seem logical to have him climb up on a building adjacent
Right.
and have him look around for a place he could jump to, at least know, which buildings are the best ones to try to bound over.
Yeah.
And of course, there's no way he can bound all the way across the thoroughfare. It's going to have to be one of these alleyways that he's jumping across.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if we even wait till night when maybe it'll be less visible. He can, climb up the tower without as much attention.
Right.
Because if I was a wizard and I saw a cat climbing up a tower, I feel like it would be really obvious.
Right.
That's familiar.
Yeah, it's certainly something's unusual. Well, do you want to take a break?
Yeah, that's a good spot actually.
Yeah. So, guys, we're going to go stretch our legs and refill our drinks, and then we will be right back. So just bear with us.
Stay tuned.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's get my good buddy Max back here. There's my good buddy Max. So we were still sneaking around Pelka using Azrael, which is Brise's familiar, a orange tabby cat. Uh, and we learned that there's no other entrance doorway, at least to the ground level of the tower that's in Pelka, which is just a small wooden affair with a broad base. We know that there's a conversation ongoing between Holver, the necromancer, and Sub's goblin that seems to have been roused from his nap. There's some agitation in that conversation, but we've not attempted to get close enough to overhear.
Yeah, I think we'll attempt that now. So if Azrael can remain out of sight and eavesdrop on, potentially literally eavesdrop on Holver. Do you like my new mug?
Oh, fun.
It's Noel's, but it's a very nice mug. So now I'm using it unironically.
That's right. Holver is speaking in a very heavily accented goblin, not his first language. Holver says, if there's any change, then obviously Volshad would wish to know. You have to be very attentive to these matters. The goblin again bows and says, of course. Any of her guests would be welcome here, but none have come through, I assure you. This is not a time for discretion, Holver says. You wish her guests to feel welcome, do you not? She and I are very close. We have no secrets. I would hate to think of them staying in some villager's home when they could be staying in the magistrate's tower. You would not want to answer to Volshad if that were the case. The goblin says, of course not, of course.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Well, I'm expecting her back any hour now. So you'd best be on your toes in regards to this matter. No guest of hers should be ill-treated. And I have to tell you, they will appear strange in all likelihood. If you or the gods spot them, then come get me so I can make them feel welcome.
Very welcome.
Holver turns abruptly from the conversation and enters the tower.
It's really clever. Instead of saying, look out for intruders, look out for people who we should be aware of. We're expecting them. Okay. So conversation's over. I've got 400 minutes. I'm assuming it'll be less now, but I'm assuming it'll be dark during that time.
Oh, pretty easily, yeah.
So we could wait until. So I'll turn to Dosherick and say, summarize what I've discovered. That there are entrances to the tower on the third floor where we think Albriga is. There's a window. So when it's darker, I can send Azrael to climb up there to look inside.
We may have to remove ourselves further from the farms if we are to stay here much longer. At night, the farmers are likely to release their dogs to watch over the farm. And as skilled as my illusions are, they are not as skilled as a hound's nose.
Okay. I can leave Azrael in the village and we can go as far as I can until I feel the bond being strained.
Yeah. So you guys sort of withdraw?
Mm-hmm. And I'll set Azrael, command him to stay out of sight mostly, but to just be himself, right? Be a cat.
You're right.
Suspicious.
That cat is doing taxes.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm a cat. Don't worry. Talking cat.
Cat. That's all he's doing. How you doing? Meow. Cat.
Meow.
The guards of the wall are more alert. Dosherick tells you that that sleepy-looking goblin went and had a word with all four of them.
Okay.
You guys find a good hiding spot, still within sight of the walls. Peeking out from a moderately dense bush.
I love the bush. That wasn't even a joke. I just didn't say that.
That's so funny. Anything of note? You let Azrael hunt. Dark falls pretty quickly. Every now and then, you guys look upslope, see if there's any sign of movement. Azrael sort of is staying within the set of buildings clustered near the tower.
Mhm.
And there is sudden movement on the ground floor. Shadows move. If that's of any interest.
Yeah, I'll have Asriel try to get a better vantage and see what's going on. So I've been attuned to my familiar so long. Was having any like lasting effects? I'm gonna like start craving fish.
Start looking at Doshrik longingly.
Yeah, like you look really tasty, Doctor.
That's right.
Thank you.
Not just bush that I like bird. Roll a double aught. Azrael can't see very well, but is up against the window, the bottom of the below the window,
Yeah.
and hears everything. Volshad is saying, "You summon me, master?" Holver says, "Yes. Yes. Have you made any progress?" Volshad says, "Yes. It's slow going. There are many traps. But as guarded as it is, certainly the nine-fingered candle should be here, as you suggested." Roll for me.
85.
Okay. Well, I should let you know, says Holver, that the Nowglyph detected activity in the slopes. Volshat says, "And found nothing?" Holver says, "I didn't say that." What would you expect it to find? Master, I have no idea. I have kept this post secret for 11 years. Paid the town taxes. They adore me. But secrecy is my primary goal here. Holver says, "Trouble doesn't suddenly come to this valley. I'm investigating the matter. But did the Nowglyph find anything, Master?" "That is not your concern, Volshad. Your concern is to bring the Nine Fingers so we can complete the trade
Okay.
But you, Volshad, you weren't expecting any visitors. No one with magical abilities. Volshad says, no, master.
I forgot there was an Amazon package there.
Try. Damn UPS. The two groups of adventurers I've hired, one out of Ballabry, they are operating far to the east. The other group I hired out of Gordovan. They are to the southwest in Theaxia. Excellent, excellent, Holver says. Well, I won't keep you. And of course, I'll keep you apprised of what the Nalglyph and I learn. Bring me the 9 fingers. There's a murmur of a spell, and it certainly sounds like Holver now is alone.
Now time to go in for the kill.
And it certainly sounds like Holver suspects Volshad is plotting against him.
Right. It's funny that we'd hide all that information from her, even though he has really no information to give.
Which he couldn't let on.
Right. Exactly. I wonder if the trade is also to do with Elbrieg. So if we rescue Elbrieg, I do wonder if that could solve our problem here as well with Holver. The deal might be called off.
That's interesting.
Okay, I'll have Azrael retreat to a safe location.
Is it time to have her climb a building?
Well, I guess I do. I just want to tell Doshrik what I discovered.
So park Azrael safely out of the way.
Right, exactly, yeah. And while I can't see through him, I'll tell Doshrik about the conversation that Volshad is searching for the 9-fingered candle, and there's some type of trade involved. And Holver suspects Volshad potentially of plotting against him.
Doshik shows no recognition at the mention of the 9-fingered candle.
No, not 9-fingered candle, not the menorah of madness.
The menorah of madness.
Not the candelabra of catastrophe.
That's right. The candlestick of the conservatory. Wait, that's Clue.
Murdered someone. I always found that so brutal, like murdering someone with a candlestick holder. Like, damn, how heavy are those things?
Pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Cast pewter and things like that. So, and with sharp edges, or they can have sharp edges.
Okay, so then I tell Doshrik I'm going to have Azrael climb to the 3rd floor and peek through the window.
Azrael works his way up to a building adjacent to the tower. jumps across down the first floor. You recall that, of course, this is a town of elves and goblins, so nightfall means nothing to them.
Yeah.
So you have him not make a very direct route of it.
But at least Holbert is a human.
And inside.
Right. That too. I'm assuming he hasn't. Yeah, he stayed inside, retiring to his quarters.
Azrael pokes his head into the west-facing window of the third floor. And in there, on a simple table, is a square-based bird cage about 2 feet high, glowing green. And in it is the translucent spirit of Elbrig.
Wow.
She sits cross-legged. She stands when she sees the cat.
So she's smaller, like to fit inside the cage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. No.
She says, "Hello, little fellow. I could long use some company." What would you like Azrael to do?
Oh man, I can't speak through him, can I? What's I always need to remember the extent of what it can do. It doesn't say in the create bond. Gain abilities, caster gain, no. So he's basically just a cat. I can't speak through him or do anything. Does it look like the bird cage is like bolted to the table at all? Is it just resting on the table?
Resting on the table. There's a door beyond the cage.
Mm-hmm.
It is closed. There's been some attention given to the room.
Mm-hmm.
There is fabric sort of folded and cascading down from the corners. There's a table with some flowers. And of course, you can't help note that she was given a window view.
Interesting.
All of that makes this room very easy to memorize.
Yeah. So I will have Azrael, nod at her to hopefully indicate, like, not just a cat.
She stands and comes to the sort of bars and puts her hands on the bars, which are, ridiculously large in her tiny hands.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? And this is where Obi-Wan would say, "Rap cat." meow, 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 meow.
She's way ahead of you. 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, meow, 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 meow. Man, how do you communicate?
Feline side language. Is that anyone you
Yeah,
like?
I'll have the cat like look towards the forest, or like towards, you can see out the window. Can the cat look towards Brise? Outside the village.
I mean, yes, but I don't know what significance you think she's going to get from that.
What I want to try to do is, if I can get any information out of her about, I guess she wouldn't even know what protection's in the room anyway. So
not unless she recognized the spell as it was being cast, and it would have to be cast while she was there.
Yeah. Okay. So then I guess the only thing we really can do is just teleport in the room. So I'll, keep Azrael there and turn to Doshrik and say, I have Azrael looking into the room at Elbrig, and she is aware of Azrael. All we have to do is teleport in there now.
But Holver is just a few floors below.
Yes. You would have to make it. Well, I guess we could wait for him to go to sleep. Or we just have to be very quick about it.
Elbrig says, have we met before?
I'll have Azrael nod. "20 questions. Let's go." Blonde?
Animal, vegetable, or mineral? You're that piece of rock that I saw through the window. Hello, Mr. Rock.
No.
Just push the cage out the window. You're an idiot.
Azrael's in the room, and then I turn away and then come back, and he's just like pushing her off the table. I'm like, no.
She asks, are you an explorer?
I nod.
Doshrik is like, what are you nodding about?
I'm nodding off. That's what I'm doing. So did Doshrik. So I say, Doshrik, I mean, we could do it now, or do you think it's better to wait until Holver is asleep? I mean, he is assuming his quarters will be on the bottom floor. I only have so long left on the spell. I would have to recast it, right? I guess it was 400 minutes, so it's been a couple hours.
Yeah.
So I've got maybe 2.5 hours left.
Right. Doshrik says, if you teleport and you're caught, there's nothing I can do to help you.
What if I bring you with me, and then we all three teleport out together? Or all four, I guess.
If Holver senses it and believes it to be a teleport, traces the teleport.
Right.
A skilled casting of trace teleport can detect a teleport, trace it hours after it's done.
Yeah, no, that's a bad idea. We shouldn't rush it. So I'll have to have Azrael return here, and then we will try it again once we're sure the village is mostly asleep.
If we could draw Holver out of the tower, I would feel much better about it.
Mm,
He's just so close, 20, 30 feet away. Teleport is not a small spell. But anything we do will heighten his alertness. But the town is too small to really support patrols of any size.
right. Perhaps you create an illusion to draw one of the guards out, and then they could eventually, hopefully, that'll report back to Holver. Anything that would attract much of the village's attention actually might be a good idea.
What would such illusion be?
Oh, no, I mean, can he cast like a giant shadow monster? That will get Holver's attention. He'd be like, "What now?"
I was thinking something simpler, maybe a campfire.
Will that get him out of the tower though?
If he's on alert, maybe.
Okay.
Someone on the road, an adventurer, perhaps.
Perhaps someone who looks like a spellcaster, an adventurer, maybe a paladin. Someone that looks like that could have been the source of the, magic activity from earlier that he detected.
Working our way down through the dark. We'll need night vision, which I can provide. Put a spellcaster on the road. How will we know that Holver is out of the tower?
I'll have Azrael in position before you cast the illusion, so that there's only one entrance to the tower. You can watch it.
Holver leaves. You teleport us there.
Mm-hmm.
We grab Elbrig. We teleport where then?
Teleport somewhere, and then we run as fast as we can away from that location, wherever it is. Do we want to be in the valley or somewhere completely different to really throw him off? Where are my?
Yeah, I don't know where.
And we use the world stone. Then I go to
Yeah.
go to Odie's. It's like some offshore bank account, like untraceable.
Yeah. Yeah, where to go?
Teleport spots.
You have to assume that Volshad's going to be roped into this eventually. So you can't teleport to a place that Volshad associates with you.
Well, I mean, I also asked Doshrik if you have any places that would work in mind from your memory. I'll check mine, which I don't know why I can't find because they're up here. The Crystal Maze, Convergence.
I could reach Convergence from here.
Okay.
And perhaps we just lose ourselves in the city.
Honestly, yes. And even if he does try to make a scene, there should be enough powerful people in Convergence, for it to make it too risky for him to bring any undead into the city. If it was a smaller village, I would be more hesitant to do that, but I think that could work. We'll bring Holver to Convergence, and he'll get the sickness, the fever.
That's right.
And then he's gonna be sick.
NPC death by COVID. It's highly effective.
Well, right. I mean, there's a 1 in 100 chance he just gets, long COVID, and then
right.
Okay. I think that's a good plan. So we teleport in, and then you teleport us to Convergence. We'll be in the middle of a city with a spirit and a bird cage. But hopefully we can, I'll just use my cloak to hide her as much as possible.
All right.
Okay.
Wow. So he murmurs. You both have night vision now. It's your first time having night vision, is it not?
No, I've had it a few times before. Potions, yeah.
Okay.
Also, remember, I was seeing better in the dark recently.
Yeah, that's right.
That strange affliction I had.
You guys work your way.
Long COVID.
Right. You guys work your way west to the more well-used road on the west side of the village.
Okay. So just make sure I'll leave Azrael nearby the tower, right?
Yeah.
Obviously not perched up on that window. I'll have to call him back down to Elbrig's dismay.
Guys, make it to a spot where the road is easily within sight so we can place the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are still sort of edging the farms that border Pelka.
Mm-hmm. I just really like how we originally started with Fraldrum's like, okay, you're just going to scout the outside of the village. And now it's like, well, we've actually rescued.
It's a full-on heist.
Yeah.
It's a full-on heist.
Sure, we found an opportunity. We've seized it.
Doshik murmurs, clutching his spellcaster's rod in his hand. A goblin cleric on horseback emerges out of the woods. Roll for me.
69.
You do like bush. It looks very convincing from here. The guard on the west side signals someone down in the town. Azrael watches as someone runs to the magistrate's tower,
Mm-hmm.
taps on the door, and enters. Holver strides out, disguised as the elven noble. Heads directly down the road to get to the west palisade.
Okay. So I tell Doshrik he's out of the tower. I'm going to start sending Azrael back up to the third story window.
By the time Azrael is there, Holver has reached the western palisade and is on the ramparts.
I've been so behind on my notes. This is so like tense. Like I haven't even written down the plan. I'll finish them later.
I got scolded by Obi-Wan. I didn't even notice. You asked Doshrik if he's ready to teleport.
Mm-hmm.
Elbrig stands again, seeing the cat has returned. You're going to get caught, little friend. These goblins have sharp eyes. Roll to teleport.
Here we go. 95. Oh,
Roll again and add it.
plus 74. Oh,
Nice.
beautiful.
Half exhaustion. Roll for orientation.
14.
Not great. Takes a moment to catch your breath. Doshrik moves himself out of view of the window and peeks around. He says that Holver is still occupied with the figure on the road.
All right.
Elbrig says, Brise.
The one and only.
Elbrig goes, is this a dream?
But I tell her, time is short. My friend and I are here to teleport you away to safety.
She puts a finger to her lips and points to the door to the room.
Okay.
There is a key in the door. As in, someone is inserting a key in the door.
Okay. Let's go. How quickly can I grab her?
Quicker than that door is going to open.
Okay.
You scoop up Azrael. You scoop up the thing. Doshrik steps to you all. Whoa. Whoa. Shit. The world changes rapidly. Find yourself in an alley filled with familiar scents. You throw your cloak over Elbrig. Doshrik pulls his cloak very far down over his face and hands. Doshrik looks to you.
Let's go. So
that's
I don't know. We're in convergence, right? I mean, that's the scent that you said, familiar scent. Well, okay, let's go to the edge of the alley and peek out.
Evening in the city. Still not convinced you know which one it is. It is walled. The walls are straight, which is a good sign.
Not crooked.
Well, not curved. Convergence's walls are flat.
Right.
Very busy thoroughfare.
Okay, so I just usher Doshrik along, and let's just get into the crowd and start moving down the street, and then hopefully we'll come across something familiar. Do I notice people having weapons at all? I forgot to hide my weapons. If it is convergence.
Well, Doshrik's got his broadsword on.
Yeah. We both are going to stand out.
A surprising dearth of weapons.
Oh, okay.
Dearth meaning shortage.
Oh. For some reason I thought, yes, I do know the word dearth, but I thought it was the opposite in this moment. Okay.
I hear you have considerable dearth. Wait, that's something else.
I'm very dearthy.
That's right.
Salt of the dearth. Okay, so
headed through.
Yeah.
It's hard to make progress out of the alley. I mean, it's just that crowded.
Right.
Dostrix head snaps behind you. Snaps to point behind you guys. And whispers urgently, "He is here."
Oh my God. Okay.
That's a good place to stop, don't you think?
No, but yes. Oh my God. Because part of it was like kind of relaxed a little bit, and now it's just all heightened back up again. But yes, excellent cliffhanger. We will have to resolve that next time.
That is some messed up stuff. That was fun though.
Yeah.
That was some that was intense.
What a cool plan, like the two spellcasters working together. That was fun.
Wow. Yeah. So geez. That was next week's gonna be really a blast. It's gonna be a chase through the city and
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, going to Convergence, that's a nice big, that's a big place to get lost in,
Right.
So that's really helpful. So
we'll see if we can achieve it. We're carrying the one thing that he's looking for, so it's God, if he has any kind of like link to it or detection to it, yeah, right. We'll have to figure all that out.
Right. So yeah, it's going to be running and hoping his senses fail him, or using both of your contacts in the city to try to hide.
Yeah.
To the extent that you want to endanger those contacts.
Hey, Breath Not, Portal Master.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah, so gang, that was episode 157. That was a pretty good one, I think. And if you think we're doing a good job, then hey, like and subscribe and hop to Donor Box there and send us a little love. Send Max some love by watching his stream as well, where he talks about the role of music and original soundtracks in video games. Thanks also to Elliot Dunovitz for their terrific character art that we use almost every session. And you want to see more of their work, then please go to artstation.com/Tortolua. And I've written a novel you can find on Amazon called A Shore Too Far. I hope you guys enjoyed reading it as much as I enjoyed writing it. Max, why don't you say goodbye to these lovely people?
Yeah, really fun session, and excited to see what happens next week. So stick around, and we will see you then.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see you guys. Thanks for everything.